I'm a good father. I do what I'm supposed to do with my kids. I get them every 2 weeks, and I do what I'm supposed to do for my kids. Seeing as if the mother of my child kind of agrees with that as well, I kind of feel like that's a high amount. The job before that, I didn't have overtime either, and I was on that job for a year and a half.
I don't care about your other job. People see the guy go visit with the other kids and that kind of thing, and they call him daddy. I don't know. I don't know what the issues are. But Ms. Dixon, do you want me to include the other two kids, or are you not really sure yourself? Mr. Jones, you last time we reset your case because you were going to hire an attorney, you did not hire anybody, did you?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Atchfield?
Thank you, Your Honor. We have a partial agreement on this one, so I'm going to read the agreed portions into the record. The parties agree that they will share joint managing conservatorship. The parties agree to have a residency restriction to the Dallas and surrounding counties. The parties agree that there's been no family violence and no request for non-disclosure. The parties agree to a standard possession order for the father. The parties agree that the father is employed at making $24 an hour, and they agree for state medical to be paid at $164. The parties agree that the father has 2 other children that do not reside with him, and he does not pay child support for. And that is all the agreed portions. So I will take testimony regarding child support, Your Honor. The state calls Shamika Dixon. Ms. Dixon, will you please state your full name for the record?
Yes, Shakima Dixon.
And can you state the names of your children and the age?
Yes, ma'am. Madison Jones, she's 5, and Messiah Jones is 4.
Ma'am, did you hear the agreed portions that I read into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree with those provisions? And do you believe that an order with those agreed portions is in the best interest of your child?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking the court to approve those portions of the agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you also agree that there's been no family violence between you and the other party? And do you also agree that there's no reason for non-disclosure at this time?
Correct.
And Ms. Dixon, do you agree that Mr. Jones makes $24 an hour?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he said 21 when we were talking to the previous man before the breakout.
So it's your understanding that he makes $21 an hour?
Correct.
Now, the state is proposing child support in the amount of $732. Are you in agreement with that?
I don't think that's right based off his pay rate, so no.
And what do you think his child support should be set at?
I think it probably should be set less, only because if he makes 21, I don't think, because I think the numbers were based off 24, but if it's 21, I don't think it should be 7.
Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Okay, go ahead, next witness.
The state calls Mr. Jones, Mr. Major Jones. Mr. Jones, can you state your name for the record?
Major Jones.
And can you state the name and ages of your children?
Madison Jones, she's 5, and Messiah Jones, he's 4.
Mr. Jones, did you hear me read the agreed portions into the record?
Yes.
And do you agree with the agreed portions that I read?
That pay rate was incorrect. It was $21 an hour. And the only part that I'm kind of not in agreement with is just how high that is. And that's the only part I'm not in agreement with.
But the agreed portions I read earlier, are you in agreement with those? Not the pay rate.
You're speaking like the agreements we have as far as like what you said at the very beginning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that part.
Okay, and do you believe that that those provisions are in the best interest of your children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you heard me read that you were making $24 an hour?
Yes.
Are you in agreement with that?
No.
What are you making, sir?
21.
Sir, the state is proposing that you pay child support in the amount of $732. Are you in agreement with that?
No, ma'am.
And why are you not in agreement with that, sir?
I just kind of feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like that's a kind of high amount. I kind of think that's based off that $24 an hour thing that you were just talking about that he had on the paper, which was incorrect. But even with that, I know that they're not going to consider anything that I do for my kids and none of that. But I'm a good father. I do what I'm supposed to do with my kids. I get them every 2 weeks, and I do what I'm supposed to do for my kids. That's just a high amount, seeing as if I have to pay that and the Medicare and the insurance on top of that. It's just going to hinder certain things that I do with my kids when they do come over. So I'm seeing as if the mother of my child kind of agrees with that as well. I kind of feel like that's a high amount.
Or if you're given credit for the 2 other children you have that you're not paying support for, the state will propose $604 for child support. Are you in agreement with that?
No, but yes. No, I don't really, to be honest with you, I agree with paying the children's health care, of course, yes. And giving the mother of my child whatever she needs as far as that one. But it's like, no, I don't agree with that, to be honest with you.
So you also do not agree to pay $604, sir?
Well, can I speak to the mother? Can I ask the mother, does she agree with that just before I, agree with that?
No, sir, just please answer my question. Are you able to pay $604? I pass the witness, Your Honor.
I got a couple questions. Okay, let's first talk about Ms. Atchview, the amount. We kind of went through different numbers. So can you verify they calculated based on 21 and not the 24? Maybe it was just a bad note that got passed to you.
It was calculated at 24 initially for the
Okay.
734.
Do you have any note as to why they did that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. What's your
But
exact? Yes.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, with the defendant, I'm sorry, with Mr. Major having 2 kids, when giving him credit for that, it lowers the amount to $604.
Well, right, but it's still the wrong number, right? Because it's not 24, it's 21.
Just give me a second.
Mr. Jones, what is your exact pay rate? $21, and is there some change?
It's like $21.37, something like that.
How many hours a week do you work?
My full 40.
You ever work overtime?
No, sir.
You've never worked overtime?
At other jobs, not at this job, no.
How long have you been at this job?
This one, I just started this one back in, October. The job before that, I didn't have overtime either, and I was on that job for a year and a half.
I don't care about your other job.
I'm sorry. I apologize. My bad.
Okay. And then tell me, I don't understand what's going on here with these other 2 kids. I don't want to go into detail about them because they're not really what we're here talking about, but you have 2 kids with Miss Dixon, and then you have 2 additional kids that are not with Miss Dixon. Is that right? The right summary?
Correct.
And you're not married to either one of those 2 mothers from those other 2 kids?
No, I'm not married. Correct.
And you haven't done a child support order for either of those 2 kids?
No, I'm not on child support.
Have you done an acknowledged paternity saying that you were the father of those 2 kids?
Yes, those are my kids.
I'm not asking about oral. Have you done it in writing?
Like, are you saying, did I sign the birth certificate?
Did you sign acknowledged paternity when you were in the hospital? Did you go to the hospital when they were both born?
Yes. All my
Okay.
kids.
Did you sign a paper for them?
Yes.
You have a copy of it with you?
No, I don't even know what. No, I don't have that.
Okay. Are those 2 kids older than Miss Dixon's kids or younger than Miss Dixon's kids?
One of them's older and one of them's younger.
All right. Miss Dixon, I need to understand what's going on with these other 2 kids. So according to state law, I should not give him credit for the other 2 kids. The only last exception would be that you acknowledge that absolutely he's the father, even though he hasn't done DNA testing and there's no court order that those are his kids. Sometimes people see the guy go visit with the other kids and that kind of thing, and they call him daddy. I don't know what the issues are, but Ms. Dixon, do you want me to include the other 2 kids, or are you not really sure yourself?
I know about the first kid, but like I said, I didn't know about the other kid because that's his personal life. I don't get into his personal business, so I didn't know about that one, but I did know about the oldest child.
Okay, so you're okay with me acknowledging that he has 1 kid, not 2?
You can acknowledge both of them. That's fine.
With one or the other, because and I don't know the whole story. So if I
Yeah,
do
I
it,
don't know. Like, I just know, like I said, he said he has 2 kids, but we haven't been together in years, so I was unaware of the second child, the other child, until today when he mentioned it in court. But the first one I did know he had.
then let's just include the one child because really, legally, I'm not supposed to include any. Okay. All right, Miss Etchefiu, I came up with 3704 for gross. Is that what you came up with on $21 an hour?
I came up with 3740, but we'll go with your number, Your Honor.
Okay. Then what do you, if we're doing 22.5% with the medical at 164.
164.
All right, so I came up with at $21.37, your gross monthly wages before taxes is $3,704. Then your bring home pay after that would be approximately $3,142. That's kind of approximating what your taxes, your Social Security, and Medicare would be. If I subtract the 164 from that, that gives us to $2,978. State law says you should pay 22.5% for 2 children in this case and 1 other child in another case. And that gets us to $670. So that's what the child support needs to be. It's just a math calculation. And so that's what I'm setting support on. The parts y'all agreed to, those are all fine with me. And those will also be part of the court order. The Attorney General's office will draft an order based on my ruling, and then they will send you a copy of that. And then make sure that all payments that are made at the child support office, they'll send out a withholding order to take it out of your check and maybe divide it up per check, depending on how you get paid, if you get weekly or whatever, so that at the end of the month, the full payment is made. All right. That's all we need to discuss today then. That'll be the order, and y'all are done with court today.
This is a very toxic situation.
The reason it's toxic is because of Jennifer.
Hold on, Mr. Sidoni.
And it's okay for Jennifer to tell them that their last name is disgusting and they can change it to her new husband's name. If I ask them, what's going on? How's school going? They tell me it's none of my business. Because Jennifer told them that it's none of my business.
Sidoni,
they don't have to tell me anything.